The wind howled through the jagged peaks of the immortal bastion, its icy breath cutting through the dim streets of Noxus. Even in the heart of this merciless empire, shadows deeper than night gathered, their tendrils reaching into alleys and crevices untouched by the faint, red-tinged glow of lanterns. The city was alive tonight, but not with the clamor of soldiers or the chants of glory. Tonight, it whispered secrets. Dark, chilling secrets. Elena pulled her cloak tighter as she darted through the streets, her boots splashing through shallow puddles left by the evening's rain. She shouldn't have been out this late. Not alone. But the letter clenched tightly in her hand promised something she couldn't ignore. The truth about them lies here, it had read. Scrawled in hurried, jagged handwriting. The truth about her family? She stopped at the gates of a dilapidated manor, its iron bars twisted and scorched as if by some ancient fire. The estate beyond was cloaked in shadow, save for the faint flicker of light seeping through cracks in the boarded-up windows. "You're late," a voice rasped from behind her. Elena whirled, her heart leaping to her throat. A man stood there, cloaked in darkness. His face was obscured, save for the gleam of his teeth as he smiled. "I wasn't sure if I should come," she admitted, her voice trembling. "Curiosity always wins," he said. "Follow me." Without waiting for her response, he pushed open the gate, its rusted hinges screaming in protest, and led her into the manor. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of decay and something metallic. Blood. The man moved ahead with an unnatural grace, his steps making no sound on the warped wooden floor. Elena hesitated but pressed on, the promise of answers outweighing her fear. He led her to a grand hall where a dozen figures sat at a long, dust-covered table. They were deathly still, their faces pale and their eyes gleaming like crimson coals. "Welcome," one of them intoned, his voice as smooth as silk but carrying an edge that made Elena shiver. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice faltering. "We are the truth you seek," the figure replied. "The legacy of your bloodline." Her hand instinctively went to her neck, brushing against the faint scars there, the marks she had always dismissed as childhood accidents. "You felt it, haven't you?" Another figure spoke, this one a woman whose voice was both haunting and melodic. "The hunger, the thirst, the need for something more." Elena shook her head, backing away. "I don't understand." The man who had brought her here stepped forward, his hood falling back to reveal his face. Young, unblemished, and disturbingly beautiful. His smile widened, revealing teeth that were sharper than they had any right to be. "You will," he said, his voice soft yet commanding. Suddenly, the room erupted into chaos. The figures moved, faster than her eyes could follow, surrounding her. Elena stumbled, her back hitting the cold stone wall. Hands reached for her, cold and unyielding. But they didn't harm her. Instead, they whispered, "You are one of us. You cannot deny it. Accept your place." Elena's mind raced as fragments of memories surfaced. Nights where she awoke to find herself outside, her mouth stained red. The inexplicable pull she felt toward the shadows. The nightmares of teeth and blood that plagued her since she was a child. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "I'm not like you." "You are," the woman insisted, stepping closer. Her eyes glowed brighter, and Elena felt herself drawn in, unable to look away. The man who had led her there knelt before her, his expression soft but predatory. "You've felt it all along, haven't you? The bite marks weren't accidents. They were your awakening." Elena's knees buckled, and she slid to the floor. The whispers grew louder. a cacophony of voices urging her to submit, to embrace what she was. A memory surfaced. Her mother, pale and frail, whispering words she had long forgotten. Stay in the light, Elena. Always in the light. But the light was gone now. The manor's dim glow flickered, the darkness pressing in. Choose, the man said. Deny who you are and die. Or accept it and live forever. Tears streamed down her face as she clenched her fists, her nails digging into her palms. The truth was undeniable. The bite marks on her neck pulsed, a dull ache spreading through her body. She began, her voice trembling. The man leaned closer, his smile victorious. Refuse. With a sudden burst of strength, Elena surged to her feet, shoving the man away. She bolted toward the door, her heart pounding. The figures lunged after her, their inhuman speed closing the distance. But she didn't stop. She reached the gate, throwing it open and sprinting into the streets. The city's red lanterns cast eerie shadows as she ran, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Behind her, the whispers followed, haunting her every step. Elena didn't know where she was going. She only knew one thing. She couldn't let the darkness claim her. The bite marks on her neck burned, a reminder of the truth she couldn't escape. But as long as she could still run, she would fight. In Noxus, there were no heroes, no saviors, only survivors. And Elena intended to survive.